The marketplace in Juba bustles with activity, Dinka and nuer people mingling under a veneer of peace. Beneath the surface, an unspoken tension simmers, casting a shadow over the vibrant scene. President Salva Kiir sits at his desk, his face a mask of deep worry. Dinka military generals stand around him, their expressions mirroring the gravity of the situation. The air crackles with unspoken anxieties about the loyalty of Nuer soldiers and the burgeoning political ambitions of Riek Machar. In the dimly lit army barracks, Nuer soldiers gather, their faces reflecting deep anxiety. Rumors of discharge spread like wildfire, igniting unease and distrust among the ranks. Unspoken fears permeate the air, casting a pall over the soldiers. President Kiir stands at the podium, his face a mask of stern resolve. His voice booms, announcing the dismissal of his entire cabinet. The news ignites a storm of shock and anger sweeping across the nation. In the heart of Juba, the night air vibrates with palpable tension as Dinka and Nuer civilians face off, the dust swirling beneath their feet. Small skirmishes ignite like sparks in dry grass, each fueled by the embers of old political and ethnic grievances. The flickering flames from burning debris cast eerie, dancing shadows, amplifying the pervasive sense of unease and foreboding. In the heart of the Nuer home, a family huddles, their faces reflecting the terror echoing from the outside. The flickering lamplight casts shadows that dance across their anxious faces, amplifying their fear. They fear for their safety and discuss whether to flee. Under the cloak of night, Dinka soldiers initiate a purge, encircling their Nuer counterparts with cold efficiency. The air crackles with tension as weapons are seized, trust shattered. Confusion and fear cloud the faces of the Nuer soldiers. The bonds of brotherhood are severed, replaced by the stark reality of division and dread. Chaos erupts as Dinka soldiers unleash a brutal massacre on the streets of Juba. Nuer civilians fall victim in their homes as the streets become rivers of blood. Panic grips the city as the streets echo with gunfire and the screams of the innocent. Nuer civilians huddle together within the church, their faces reflecting terror as chaos erupts outside. The heavy wooden doors splinter violently as armed soldiers storm into the sanctuary. The massacre continues within the sacred space. The hospital is overwhelmed with wounded and dying Nuer civilians. Doctors and nurses struggle to cope with the sheer number of casualties. The scene is filled with chaos and despair as medical staff work tirelessly. Thousands of Nuer civilians gather, their faces etched with worry and desperation. UN peacekeepers struggle to maintain order amidst the throng. Under the harsh sun, the peacekeepers' voices are hoarse from shouting. The UNMISS compound is filled with the stench of sweat and fear. Faces are etched with hunger and thirst. The air hangs heavy, a palpable blanket of despair. The streets of Juba lie in ruins, a silent testament to the massacre that has unfolded. The massacre continues for days, leaving thousands dead. The stench of death hangs heavy in the air, a constant reminder of the lives lost. Across the barren land, a river of Nuer refugees flows, their faces marked by exhaustion and fear. They flee Juba, seeking escape from relentless violence. Hunger claws at their bellies, and thirst parches their throats. The sun scorches the earth, and the specter of further attacks looms. Makeshift refugee camps rise, offering minimal shelter and sustenance to the displaced Nuer people. Yet, beneath the surface of aid, dire conditions persist, casting a shadow over their resilience. Inside the Nuer family tent, dim light flickers, casting eerie shadows across the faces of the mourners. Grief hangs heavy, a suffocating presence within the canvas walls, as the weight of trauma silences all. Nuer white army soldiers assemble, their faces masks of grim resolve. With spears raised high, they chant war cries, their voices echoing their vow of revenge. The air vibrates with tension as they prepare to unleash attacks on Dinka communities. Nuer White Army soldiers advance across the countryside, their mission fueled by vengeance. Their attacks target Dinka civilians, perpetuating a relentless cycle of violence. The countryside bears witness to the ongoing conflict, a landscape scarred by recurring brutality. The UN Security Council convenes, the room filled with hushed tension as representatives gather. Sunlight streams through tall windows, casting light on the grim expressions of the council members. The air is thick with anticipation as they condemn the recent massacre in South Sudan. UN peacekeepers patrol the UNMISS compound, standing guard against potential threats. They maintain a vigilant watch, protecting the Nuer civilians from further violence. Amidst chaos, doctors and nurses tirelessly tend to the wounded, battling against relentless violence and dwindling supplies. The hospital echoes with cries of pain and the hurried footsteps of medical staff, a stark reminder of the ongoing crisis. Despite the overwhelming odds, the medical team persists, their determination unwavering in the face of despair. Flickering lamplight paints the faces of Nuer leaders with shadows, their debate heavy with unspoken grief and simmering rage. They clutch spears and prayer beads, the weight of their community's future etched into their expressions. The air hangs thick with the unresolved question: reconciliation or revenge? The streets of Juba bear the weight of a city struggling to rise from the ashes, each rebuilt structure a stark reminder of the massacre. The air is thick with unspoken animosity as Dinka and Nuer civilians navigate the same streets, their interactions tense and guarded. The city pulses with a fragile hope, overshadowed by the deep scars of division that threaten to reignite at any moment. Mourning Nuer families gather among the headstones, their faces etched with grief. They kneel before the graves of their loved ones, victims of the recent massacre. Sunlight filters through the trees, casting long shadows across the rows of graves. They gently trace the names carved into the stones, their fingers lingering as if trying to reconnect with the departed. Whispers of remembrance fill the air, stories of lives cut short, dreams unfulfilled. Tears stream down their faces as they mourn their loss, their sorrow echoing through the silent graveyard. Newer refugees return to their homeland only to find devastation and ruin. Homes lie in ruins, looted and scarred, bearing witness to the violence. Amidst the desolation, they begin the arduous task of rebuilding their shattered lives.